overseas, they flew what was available, but they trained in this kind of plane. And we got what they call the skin off of the fabric, so you can see what a plane looks like. This is called the leading edge. These are called spars. Wings to help stretch the wires to help stretch the wings. The joysticks look like baseball bats. And when Glenn Curtis designed this engine, he called it the O engine. And then he made some improvements that got more horsepower, so he called it the O plus engine. And then somebody, instead of typing it up, instead of making a plus sign, made an X, and we ended up with the OX5. And it was a great engine, and they used it a lot in training our pilots. Now, Lindbergh is a very young man, lived in Minnesota, and he got involved with a flying show, and he did wing walking, and he did parachute jumping, and a pilot taught him a little bit about flying. After World War I, the government sold these planes to whoever wanted to buy them, and basically it was airports. And one day, Lindbergh was in Americus, Georgia, and he drove into the airport on his motorcycle, and they had a lot of these planes for sale, and he made some kind of deal, like it was $395 plus a motorcycle, and he got an airplane. So they put some spare parts in the front seat, and he took off. He got about 4 feet high, and he wasn't too sure he could fly it, so he landed it. And at the airport was a fellow that says, look, you come back tomorrow, I'll teach you how to fly that plane. So he went back for 3 or 4 days and got lessons. Then he put the parts in the front seat, and he took off for Minnesota. Now, Lindbergh's father actually was a congressman. You heard of congressman. He was a congressman in Washington, D.C. for the state of Minnesota. And it was time for re-election, so he was back in Minnesota. So he put his dad in the front seat, and they just bounced all over Minnesota while he campaigned. And one day he took off, the pilot took off with Lindbergh in it, and a wheel fell off. I think his opponent was trying to tell him something, but his dad did win, and he went back to Washington. Lindbergh and his family lived in Detroit for quite a while, which is where I'm from. And in World War II, Lindbergh was working for a company that was building planes for the government. And he told the board of directors, I want to go to the South Pacific and sit down eyeball to eyeball with the pilots and find out what their problems are, and maybe we can just design a better airplane. So he did. And when he got over there, he met MacArthur. And he said, I'd like to fly a couple of combat missions. And he said, why not? They gave a B-38 GO with a group into a combat area. They found some Japanese planes, and one flew in front of him, and he shot it down. He was the only civilian in World War II that shot an enemy aircraft down in the South Pacific. But anyway, while he was there, he actually flew 50 missions. And while he was there, he flew several other airplanes, and we got one called the F-4U Corsair, which was the flagship flew. He was flying that type of plane, and he found a way to better manage the fuel, and in doing that, he increased the range of the airplane by 50%. So that was a big advantage to us. So he did a lot to help us out in the South Pacific. Now, after World War I, the pilots from World War I put up and bought these planes because they had to have a job. They couldn't get a job, so they bought a plane. And they put up signs. They'd fly to a small town and land in a farmer's field, put up a sign, be a big shooter, take your girlfriend up for a ride, $2. And they did. Okay? And then about 6 weeks later, she got $2, took him to the city hall. This plane helped to increase the population in our country in those days. I don't know if that's true. It should be some good story, though. That's about, oh no, there's another thing. Before we got